you rather be blind or deaf? I was asked this question about 10 years ago, and at the time I responded that I would prefer to be deaf. I wasn't really attempting to answer the question seriously, but I suppose I had valid reasons for answering that way. I have since changed my mind some 10 years on, but I don't think it's an easy question to answer. I think there are a few points to cover. I think there is some reasoning to be done. I'd like to do that right here. Now, with you, and I have some quick points written down here. I think what needs to be considered between losing one's eyesight and one's hearing is a few matters of operating in public. For me personally, first off, I feel that sort of inconspicuous assimilation is still important, and that's why hearing would be less important than seeing, because you can still walk down the street deaf. In fact, it's probably easier to act normal, to just be unseen, invisible, just another normal person. But if you lose your eyesight, it becomes it's significantly visible. To the opposite of that is maybe ease of communication. If you lose your eyesight, it's still pretty easy just for people to communicate with you by talking, even if they're trying to direct you, tell you left, like playing a game of hot and cold. But if you can't hear, I think it's still fairly easy to communicate with people. Not harder on a significant level that would give eyesight a clear point. I think today, with modern technology, though, it's not so much a matter of what is catered to. I think both poor eyesight and poor hearing are both very much accounted for in modern day interactions. So I think they pretty much break even on that point. I myself would be concerned with isolation, which is, I think, a point I didn't really much consider 10 years ago, and now do. Basically, if you can't shut off your ears, but you can close your eyes, is a pretty easy way to say it. And to be totally isolated is actually a good thing, and along with that goes some phenomena that people talk about. A lot of phenomena extra sight, of foresight, of blind sight, right? And it's still possible to sense without eyesight, but no one ever talks about hearing, about whether deaf people can still sense. You do hear about people who listen to music, very bassy music, and feel vibrations like they're snakes. But I think in that particular case, losing one's sight, if hearing, well then again, if hearing were that important, you know, or if, no, that's not all what I meant. If the possibility of some sort of extrasensory perception were important, then that would be a good reason to lose eyesight, since that's more well documented. I don't know what that says, but it is the last point. It's actually a completely different point. It really doesn't pertain to losing eyesight or losing hearing. It's more a matter of whether, which the essay didn't clarify, of whether you lose your hearing or your eyesight at some point along in your life, or if it's at birth. Because if it's at birth, really I don't think losing anything would make much of a difference if you're born without it. Nonetheless, knowing what it's like to have all of the pertinent senses, be they divided into 5 or less or more, the extra ones I have that you don't, I would always go with losing hearing, because I think as I get older and older, music, which is the big reason to listen and hear, means less to me, and I've encountered so many situations that eyesight is just more important. I feel that the senses are dead equal as far as safety. And really, who the fuck is gonna rob a blind guy or a deaf guy? I guess in that case, it goes back to the first point. If you look like a blind guy, no one's gonna rob you, right? Anyway, you know, I think it's a profound question. I think it's a simple enough question that it can really detect who is even willing to give insight to it or not. But, you know, I'm happy the way things turned out, and I think it's funny the way I answered that question, pretty snottily, you know, and I think we sort of have our proof already. I mean, we have great artists who lost their sight, Monet, Homer, Milton. We have good ones who lost their hearing, Beethoven, great one. Same, everyone's on the same level there. But, I mean, really, I guess it is a personal, sort of a personal issue on what you'd rather be left without, what you're used to having, what you couldn't do without. I'd love to know anyone else's opinion on that. What would you rather lose? Your eyes or your ears?